So good morning folks, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got a bike review, and this is the Gin X. So the company is called Gin and the model is X. It's kind of like a hybrid e-bike. Done a few miles on it now. It's very well put together, nice solid bike. Seat, probably wouldn't want to sit on it all day. That's my preference of it anyway. I do prefer a little bit of a softer seat. However, I have been using it on all sorts of road terrain, the typical British road terrain where it's nice and bumpy, as well as some off-road tracks where it was nice and bumpy. And that's probably attributed to my sore body. So if it was me, because there is no rear suspension, we'll get to the tech specs in a minute. If it was me, I'd have a nicer, comfier seat and definitely a suspension seat post on there as well. I think that would help an awful lot. Definitely got enough power in this motor, again we'll get to the tech specs in a minute, to carry me up a hill that I've just come up. And now we're going to go down. Whee! It's nice when people give you a nice amount of distance when going past you. Unlike that guy. It's always van drivers, delivery drivers, whatever. They don't give you any space whatsoever. Right then, let's run through the tech specs. So it's an aluminium frame bike, suited to riders of around about 5'4" to 6'3". So the bike, including the battery, come in around about 20 kilos according to the tech specs. However, when I weighed it, and others agreed online as well, it's actually closer to about 23 kilos with the rear rack and everything on there. And considering they're trying to push this as a cargo bike, cargo city e-bike, then they really should consider the rear rack as part of the weight of the bike. Oh, more power. This motor is definitely powerful enough. So speaking of power and motor, it's got a 250 watt brushless BAFANG rear hub motor, which is definitely giving enough power right now. Got my lardy arse up that hill anyway. It's got a 12.1 amp hour battery, which, in average mode, if you're going to use a lot of assistance or average amount of assistance, should get you around about 45 miles. But if you can pedal more and use less assistance, it'll possibly get you about 75 miles. And the battery should take 4.5 to 5 hours to recharge. It's really pulling me up this hill, this motor, albeit a little bit noisy. It's complaining, "Oi, lad ass." Do some pedaling, lad ass. And while we're talking about being a cargo bike, the load capacity of this bike is 130 kilograms. So if it was me, for example, I weigh about 106 kilograms, I think, something like that. I can't remember now. 16 stone in old money. So that gave me 10-15 kilograms of cargo to be able to carry around to sort of reach the capacity that this is rated for. So you do get front suspension on the bike, but no rear suspension. Tyres wise, we've got 27.5 inch by 2.1 inch tyres, and they're sort of like hybrid tyres, mixed, so they are good for road and sort of track. Say track, canal towpath kind of thing, not forest or anything like that. Good brakes, they're Zoom hydraulic disc brakes with 180mm discs, and they do stop really well. You got a nice S830 display with a little controller, so middle button powers it on and off, and top buttons go through the options. And obviously you've got the 5 levels of assistance. Like I say, level 5, there's plenty of power there, can't argue with that. You get front and rear plastic mud guards, which do the job fairly well. Although even with my balls of my feet in the middle of the pedals, because a few people said, you're not riding right, John. So even with my balls of my feet in the middle of the pedals, if I turn the wheel as my pedal is at the same sort of area as the wheel, and then turn the wheel, it catches. Just catches the edge of the mud guard. And so far people talk about what's the top speed at the other downhill. I got about 24 miles an hour out of it. Obviously it's UK legal, EU legal, so it stops giving an assisted mode past around about sort of 15 miles an hour. But it is a nice smooth bike to ride. Feels, you know, rock solid and stable. So let's talk about assembly. Probably not one of the best bikes I've had to assemble in terms of packaging. Obviously something went a bit wrong. Both the mud guards were very twisted, so it took a while to adjust. And the rear rack, when I assembled that took a lot of adjusting. It looked like it had received quite a nasty bang or something. So yeah, a few little niggles. But other than that, assembly, you know, usual thing, front wheel on. The front wheel is quick release, which does help for storage and obviously moving it around. So you put it in the back of your car or motorhome or campervan or normal van. I'm just on a gravel path now, and it's a little bit bumpy, and it's pounding my ass. Oh dear. So yeah, a little bit of comfy seat / rear seat suspension would be a really good upgrade. I mean, if they're using Zoom for the brakes, Zoom also make a great suspension seat post. It's not a lot of money, so that'd be a good idea. Good quality bit of kit actually, I've got one myself. Just on a bit of a muddy track now. And yeah, definitely tyres are coping, nice and grippy. No problem with that. So you do get a throttle, but if I go on throttle now, I'm doing 5 miles an hour on throttle. So it is moving the bike 1.7 miles an hour. So it is just walk assist throttle, which is why this bike complies with UK and EU laws, because it is a 250 watt rear hub motor. The throttle is only for walk assist, and yeah, that's basically the regulations. But I am pleased to see a proposal to change those regulations is going through Parliament, up to a 500 watt motor, and also to allow thumb throttle or twist and go throttles to assist at any speed. So I'm quite happy about that. Their argument is the same as mine, that I've been talking about e-bikes, and their argument is the more people that can get on e-bikes, people are going to be healthier, and potentially if more people get on an e-bike using the cycle to work scheme, so they go out and buy a bike and it's taken out your wages a tiny little bit every month, essentially you're going to get a bike that you want. You don't have to have the money straight away to pay for it. You're going to cycle to work. The government allows you 10 pence per mile of cycling to work that you can claim back as well, and you get healthier and there's less traffic on the road as well. So I can see why they're going for it. As far as I'm concerned, I don't cycle to work as such. You could say I'm cycling for work. So I do claim my 10 pence a mile, but ultimately more people are going to enjoy cycling. So there's not a bad thing about that whatsoever. In my personal opinion, the stand is too small, because the way the bike leans, it isn't far off tipping. It literally is right on its very balance point. And the front seems to be quite heavy, so it does want to tip over this way. Like I say, it's a nice looking bike. Really like it. Like I say, hand controls, thumb that power on and off is the middle button. And then, like I say, even though I'm doing that now, the bike's trying to fall over. And then you got, like I say, the up and down buttons to go through the power modes. So on this side, 7-speed gear train, Shimano. So yeah, that's going to be good and nice and reliable and very easy to use. And I almost forgot to mention about the horn. And you get some nice sort of like leather palm rest grips as well. They're quite nice. Like I say, no rear light, even though you've got the option there, they've not wired a rear light up. So there's a battery powered rear light there. On the suspension, you get an option to lock or open the suspension. You've got a front light on the front, and you operate the light by pressing and holding the up arrow. And then you do get a little thing on there that says the light's on. So yeah, there's a light on the front, nice bright light. So switch that off. Press and hold that top button and then it goes off. Like I say, you got a couple of keys here, and they are for the battery. So yeah, battery is obviously in here, and you access it at the bottom there. So if I just put it on, drop it down there, show you, that's the on-off button as well. So you can totally just disable the battery like that. It's got a fuse there and the lock, and then that's how you charge it. Obviously, like I say, you can take it out as well if you want to take it out and charge it out of the bike. But other than that, you can charge it in the bike. And that is quite good at sealing it up. Like I say, I just wish that that rear stand was somehow adjustable. So it didn't fall over as much. Well, thanks for watching my review of the Gin X. Lovely little bike, UK legal, some great little features on there and a great price too. As usual, all links will be in the video description down below, and if I've managed to get an offer code, that'll be in the video description down below too. Thanks for watching folks, until the next one, see you later, bye.